Just call me DJ JB. As you guys know, I am JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. Listen to some Key Sweat. What y'all know about that Key Sweat? Woo! Hey! 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 Yeah. What's good, YouTubers and YouTubits? This is JB Sports, and we're gonna talk a little boxing, because I'm back again with another one. Yeah, what y'all know about that Key Sweat, man? That's when them boys was singing back in the day. Yeah, Key Sweat. You know, he came out of the same mold as a Luther Vandross, Freddie Jackson. A lot of them guys made songs for the ladies. And that's what it's all about, for the ladies, the females. Checking them out in concert, checking out their music, checking out their videos. And Key Sweat was a guy that was a great, great performer. If he ain't in the Hall of Fame, if he ain't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he damn sure should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't know what the criteria is to get in there. You have to be out of the music game for so many years before you're eligible. I don't know how all that works, but he's definitely, if he's not a Hall of Fame performer, he's a soon-to-be Hall of Fame performer. Make no mistake about it. But we're going to talk a little bit of boxing. As we know, the guy that I have number one in boxing, the number one pound for pound fighter in boxing, goes by the name of Terrence Bud Crawford. In his last fight, he took on the number two guy in boxing. The guy that I had number two on the pound for pound list, Errol the True Spence, who's from my neck of the woods, well, close to my neck of the woods, fighting out of DeSoto, Texas, which is close to Dallas. I'm from H-Town. And he's a guy that I was following his career throughout. And he's a guy that I held in high regard, make no mistake about it. And when that fight went down a little over a year and a half ago, that fight was not only for undisputed in the welterweight division, as Errol Spence Jr. held titles in the WBC, WBA, and IBF, and Crawford held a title in the WBO. But that fight, in my opinion, was for unquestioned number one pound for pound fighter, which we don't see a lot in boxing over the history of boxing. You know, some of the fights that I can't remember that was in that same category was when James Toney took on Roy Jones. That was the number one and number two guy. Or when arguably, this could have been another fight about, 7-8 years ago, the first fight between Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev. That arguably could have been a fight that had the number one and number two fighters in boxing squaring off. But after that fight, he's been hella inactive. You know, he says he wants to chase legacy fights. He don't want to just be fighting anybody. Nah, he was a guy that became undisputed when he defeated Errol Spence Jr. And he was supposed to take on the IBF number one contender, Jerome Bucenis. But he decided to move up and take on a new challenge, try to conquer a new division, try to become a 4-division world champion, and get one step closer to becoming 3 times undisputed. With all that being said, he's got a fight coming up August 3rd against the WBA junior middleweight champion, Israel Madrimov, who, in my opinion, when you talk about the champions at 154, is the best fighter at 154. I think he's better than WBC junior middleweight champion Sebastian Fedora. I think he's better than Machiavelli, the WBA champion. And I think he's better than Tim Tszyu. who's not a champion, but was a former WBO champion, lost a razor-thin decision to Sebastian Fedora earlier this year in a fight that he was compromised by a headbutt, had blood leaking into his eye, but nevertheless, he put on a gallant performance and lost a very, very close decision to Sebastian Fedora, a.k.a. the Towering Inferno. With all that being said, man, Terrence Crawford is headlining a card in L.A., Los Angeles, California, and he'll be taking on WBA junior middleweight champion Israel Madrimov. And that fight is slated to take place August 3rd in Inglewood, California. Inglewood up to no good. That fight will be going down in that soccer stadium, that beautiful soccer stadium in California. But Turki Al-Ashiki, a.k.a. His Excellency, I guess hard me call somebody like that, His Excellency. Heard call another man His Excellency. I don't believe in that stuff over there in the UK, just be honest with you. Calling these people kings and, you know, you putting them on a pedestal, man, they put their shoes on the same way you put your shoes on, kings and queens and stuff, and then you want to call these people His Excellency. He's doing a lot of good things over there. He's a powerful guy. He's got money. Okay, that's good, but his name is Turki Al-Ashiki. I call him Turki Al-Ashiki or Mr. Al-Ashiki. I'm just going to leave it at that. With all that being said, man, he's been one of the best things to happen to boxing in recent years. He's put on a lot of mega events. He put on Undisputed a couple of months ago involving Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. He also staged other big-time fights involving Tyson Fury and UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou in a crossover match that did good numbers. A great card. He had a lot of entertainers performing on that card. And this card going down August 3rd, he's got the legendary rapper Eminem performing for this card, as this card is loaded. Not only we have Crawford Madrimov, but we have Pitbull versus Rayo. We got Big Baby Anderson going against Martin Bakole in a crossroads type of heavyweight matchups featuring two guys that probably could have been taking lesser opponents and biding their time for a heavyweight title, but decided to take on each other and find out who is the best young heavyweight in boxing. They're fighting. We got David Morrell on the card, who's the WBA super middleweight champion. He's moving up to 175 pounds, taking on Hot Rod. We have Andy Ruiz making his long-awaited return to the boxing ring, taking on Jared Big Baby Miller. So we got two big babies in the house on August 3rd. We got Big Baby Miller taking on Andy Ruiz, and we got Big Baby Anderson taking on Martin Bakole. Loaded card. We got Andy Cruz, one of the most decorated Olympians coming out of Cuba. He's going to open up the card. He's a guy that's going to have to be dealt with at 135 pounds. You know, a lot of people are calling this card the best ever, one of the best cards that ever produced in the sport of boxing, in the history of boxing. You know, we heard a lot of these people come out and said that, in particular, Eddie Hearn, who's promoting this card, who's the promoter of Madrimov, who is the P. Diddy of boxing promoters, always in the video. He said the same thing about this card being the best card that he's ever been involved with. But my question to Eddie Hearn and all these other people that saying this is the best card that they ever seen put together is why it's not selling. Why are there a lot of tickets still available for this fight? Because Turki Al-Ashiki, who's putting the money behind this mega event, this mega card, recently came out on social media and said that, basically begging the fans to come out and support this fight. You know, basically promoting the fight, saying, hey, man, this is a great card. We got a lot of great fighters. We got the face of boxing, pound for pound, #1 fighter, Terrence Crawford, on this card. Y'all need to come out and support this card. And the reason why he had to come out with that post on social media is because the fight's not selling. So a lot of people, in particular Errol Spence fans and guys that really don't care for Terrence Crawford, have said in the past that he's not a draw, he's not an attraction, and that he does not do good numbers outside of his hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. And this situation will lead credence to their argument. with all that being said, I just think they've done a bad job promoting this card. I haven't seen one commercial promoting this card. Now, we're 3 weeks out. We're a little less than 3 weeks out. I haven't seen a lot of promotion for this card. As we get closer, maybe we get 10 days in before fight night, maybe they'll start pumping up this card, and maybe we see some of these tickets start getting sold. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. You know, if I could make it out there to that card, I would try to make it, but I ain't gonna be able to get out there. I ain't gonna be able to get out there. We just got hit up with a hurricane that done pretty much took me back a few steps. So I got to get back to rolling, man. There's a lot of things going down, man. I was without power for about 5-6 days, man. So I'm trying to get back up on my feet, man. It's gonna take me a minute. I'm still in good condition and everything going well as far as economically wise, man. But yeah, you talking about getting on a plane, flying to the West Coast, get a hotel, this, that, and the third, man. Yeah, I would like to get out to that fight. I ain't gonna be able to make it. I'm gonna purchase the fight. It's gonna be on pay-per-view. I'm gonna support the fight in that regard, but from what I'm hearing, man, the fight is not doing good numbers. Now, one of the things that people are saying, the reason why the fight's not selling right now is they put that fight in the wrong location. Why'd you put that fight in California? Terence Crawford is from Nebraska. Madrimov is from overseas. So you got two guys headlining the card that have no connection to that area. And I understand all that, but you look at the card, you got Andy Ruiz, the former heavyweight champion, the first Mexican heavyweight champion. He's on that card. You have Pitbull Cruz, who has a huge fan base on the West Coast. Pitbull, yeah, California, Vegas, Arizona. He got a good fan base over there. He's on that card. So you got some fighters on that card that should be able to draw. You know, David Morrell, you know, I kind of wonder about him being on that card because he got a good following in Minnesota. He got a huge following over there, but, you know, he fighting in L.A., so maybe some of the people will travel from Minnesota to come support him, man. But the bottom line is tickets are not getting sold like you would think they would get sold for a fight of this magnitude or for a card of this magnitude. So we got a little less than 3 weeks, so we'll just have to see what happens, and we'll just have to see what transpires. But this is a great fight. This is one of the biggest fights of 2024, and I'm much looking forward to checking out this whole card. But we just got to understand that maybe they might have put this fight in the wrong location. Now, when you talk about Crawford not being a draw, that's hogwash, because him and Spence is in the top 10 of the highest grossing revenue at the gate. The highest gate is in the top 10 of the highest gate in boxing history, right? Up under Mayweather, Pacquiao, Mayweather, McGregor. You got Canelo, Golovkin 1, Canelo Golovkin 2. You got Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, and right after that you got Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. So they're in the top, right outside the top 5. I think it's number 6 as the largest gate in boxing history. They did $21 million gate, right up under Tank versus Ryan, which did a $22.9 million gate. Now those two gates pale in comparison to Mayweather. Mayweather-Pacquiao did a $72.5 million gate, and Mayweather-McGregor did a $55.4 million gate. That means how much revenue was accumulated at the arena with the seats and the concessions. That's what that entails. And that lets you know that Crawford Spence was very, very successful. It did 650,000 pay-per-view buys. A lot of people want to attribute that to Errol Spence Jr. selling that fight and being the draw in that fight. But now, Errol Spence Jr. had never did 650,000 with Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia had a great, big Latino fan base. Errol Spence Jr. didn't do that with Sean Porter, who had a fan base on the West Coast. He's fighting out of Vegas. Then he was from Cleveland, so he had a little fan base over there in the Midwest too. They ain't do them type of numbers. He had been on pay-per-view before he fought Crawford. He did some good numbers up in Dallas when he fought Udanis Hookers, but he didn't do no $21 million gate. So that lets you know that saying that Terence Crawford is not a draw, that's cap. Saying that Terence Crawford is a guy that nobody will want to see outside of Omaha, Nebraska, that's nasty work. That's just somebody hating on Terence Crawford and not understanding that Terence Crawford is one of the biggest names the sport of boxing. He's not the face of boxing. I know I said that earlier, but he's not the face of boxing. The face of boxing is down to 2 names. It's down to Canelo Alvarez and Tank Davis. But he's definitely in the top 5 of the faces of boxing. That's for damn sure. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But as of now, Terrence Crawford versus Israel Madrimov for Madrimov's WBA junior middleweight title is not doing well at the box office, and it remains to be seen if it will sell well or will there be a lot of empty seats. I will imagine that the walk-up crowd on fight day will be strong, but again, that area of California, Inglewood, right outside of LA, there's a lot of stuff to do out there. You got a lot of different entertainment attractions out there that people can do, man. You got a lot of different things that people can do. You got the beach, number one. You got a lot of different spots to hit up, bars, nightclubs, different venues they can hit up. There's a lot of things going on in California. Then you got a lot of other big-time sporting events that people can attend. They can go to Dodgers games. I don't know if the Dodgers are going to be playing on that night, or maybe they be out of town, but you got a lot of different things you can get involved in. Luckily, during that time, the Lakers won't be playing a game because basketball don't kick off to October, so it'll be before that. But the Dodgers, you got the Los Angeles Angels, you got a lot of things going on, man. You got the Anaheim Ducks, but they ain't got to worry about that because hockey is not going to be getting into effect till around about the same time the NBA season starts. That'll be around that October area. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. But there's a lot of moving parts, man. Maybe that wasn't the best location for that fight. Maybe they should have put that fight maybe in Omaha, Nebraska, Crawford's hometown, or maybe they should have took that fight maybe to Las Vegas. But you know, Los Angeles, California has put on some memorable fights. The greater Los Angeles area put on some memorable fights. You know, even Inglewood, we had Juan Manuel Marquez fresh off the devastating knockout of Pacquiao fighting Alvarado. I believe that fight was in Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it was in Denver. I think it was in Los Angeles, though. Yeah, it was in the Forum. It was at the renovated Forum. That fight was there. We had Oscar De La Hoya versus Sugar Shane Mosley. Their first fight was in L.A., so they've had a lot of memorable fights in L.A. I believe the second Muhammad Ali-Ken Norton fight was in Los Angeles. That was a great fight. Both guys showed up on the Johnny Carson show, I think a day or two before the fight, and did a weigh-in, an unofficial weigh-in. So that was a big fight back in the 70s. So they've had some memorable fights in Los Angeles, California. Inglewood is right basically down the street from Los Angeles, so they've had a lot of mega events, and we will see if this event rates up there with those events, but right now it's not happening. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Follow me on Facebook, Gerard Briscoe. Follow me on TikTok, JB Sports New Media. Follow me on Twitter, Twitch, formerly known as Twitter, at Briscoe Jai 77071, and like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, and I holla.